celebrating the 4th to celebrating All-Star Week.
You know, it's just going to be a big party. There's going to be open carry, we can, open carry around the area and the restaurants.
Denver's getting ready for the next round of crowds to arrive as questions still linger on the city's strategy for helping those living on the streets downtown.
His policies have only exacerbated the problem. He's not created any solutions.
And needing more teachers.
They have lower pay. They have a lot of turnover.
State schools are struggling to find help to teach some of our youngest students. Getting out of the water and out of the heat.
What I'm feeling is I'm kind of nervous and excited at the same time.
A major rebound for Colorado rafting companies that are seeing the highest demand in 3 years.
We're really lucky this year. We're feeling good.
But first tonight, storming out west. There is currently a flash flood warning for Grand County near the East Troublesome burn scar. And parts of Highway I-25 are now closed for flood cleanup. I-70 at Glenwood Canyon was also temporarily closed this evening as a safety precaution, but it's now back open. It was also closed for the majority of the day yesterday because of mudslides. But thankfully, most storms held out last night for fireworks. Air Tracker 7 flew over the skies of Denver, which were lit up with fireworks last night. Also, Denver police received the lowest number of fireworks calls in years, with just over 200 compared to that in 2018, where DPD responded to more than 1,000. Well, from fireworks to nonstop baseball, All-Star Weekend is just 4 days away, and Denver is ready to put its best foot forward as it steps into the international spotlight. Denver7's Russell Haythorn is live tonight with more on those preparations and some criticisms of the city's cleanup efforts. Russell.
Yeah, that's right, Jessica. Preparations well underway here in downtown Denver for All-Star Weekend. You can see the street closures already in place outside the Colorado Convention Center. Similar street closures are in place over by Coors Field. And while there is a general sense of excitement about this big game, some say part of polishing up the Mile High City for baseball's big day is just a Band-Aid on a much more serious issue. It goes without saying.
We're here about 13 years now.
The ballpark neighborhood has been good to Marco's coal-fired pizza. And Marco's, now an institution in Denver, has been equally good to the neighborhood.
You develop relationships and you maintain the product no matter what.
Now, owner Mark Dim,
The party's back on.
could not be more thrilled about next week's All-Star game.
It's pretty exciting that we're going to have the street shut down from the 9th through the 13th. Open carry around the area and the restaurants.
He and others are also noticing more homeless sweeps lately.
It's a tough nut to crack, especially when you're on, the international stage.
This is what the city calls a cleanup. We call it a sweep because human beings are displaced from where they're living. It isn't just a cleanup of garbage.
Anna Cornelius with Homeless Out Loud says it's clear what's going on.
Having tents throughout your city is a pretty big embarrassment. It should be, at least to the mayor. So they're wanting folks to move away from the baseball field so they can have a good PR moment nationally.
For his part, the mayor denies that, even when pressed by reporters.
It is not. Let me be very clear, it's not connected to the All-Star game. There's not been one new order to step up enforcement.
Cornelius says that's simply false. She says most sweeps are one cleanup for one day.
This sweep was posted for about a 20-block area, and it was posted for 3 days.
Again, the mayor defiant.
We are not doing anything different in terms of our cleanups. What we are doing is, post-pandemic, is enforcing the law.
Dim says he's staying out of the politics, but he is tired of what he calls failed policy after failed policy.
So if you're going to do a sweep, have a place to bring people. Come up with a real solution. Don't just keep putting a Band-Aid on it. And that's all they do.
Still, he is upbeat about All-Star Week.
It's a major boon for us, not only for business, but also for exposure. And that we're open to 100% really makes a big difference.
Yeah, hoping for good things for all those businesses. Denver Homeless Out Loud says cops on the street told them directly that they are intentionally moving the homeless encampments away from Coors Field. The mayor's office disputes that. They say this is all just related to COVID restrictions being lifted, and so they're sweeping more often. Whatever the case, All-Star Weekend is almost here. Festivities begin here at the Colorado Convention Center this Friday. I'm Russell Haythorn, live downtown. Jessica, back to you.
Thank you, Russell. Well, tickets to the actual game will set you back $200 each right now, but there are some free options you can take advantage of. It's called Play Ball Park, and it'll be held at the Convention Center from Friday the 9th to Tuesday the 13th. Play Ball Park will have plenty of interactive events for the whole family, and tickets must be reserved ahead of time. But again, they're free, and you can get them right now on allstargame.com. If you do have tickets for Tuesday's game, you might see at least one Rockies player in the All-Star game. Pitcher Herman Marquez didn't make the starting lineup, but hey, he's on the roster. He's the 8th pitcher and 6th starter in Rockies history to make it, and he certainly earned it against the Cardinals yesterday. 11 strikeouts in 6 innings. If you missed it, Colorado has officially reached the president's 4th of July vaccine goal. As of Saturday, just over 70% of Coloradans have received at least one dose of the vaccine. Just 20 states met that goal. The CDC reports 67% of U.S. adults have had one dose and 58% are fully vaccinated. If you still need to get your vaccine, don't head to Ball Arena. The state's last community-operated site shut down this weekend. Health officials say the closure is part of a planned transition to local providers. Here in Colorado, universal pre-K is supposed to take effect in 2023, but there is already a teacher shortage, and there may not be enough qualified teachers to care for our kids. Denver7's Megan Lopez shows us how schools are trying to fill the gap.
It takes two fundamental things to be a preschool teacher: passion and patience.
You know, I love my parents, I love my students, and so I just want what's best for them.
But over the years,
I have been teaching for over 30 years.
Brenda Perry has learned sometimes it takes even more. Brenda is a lead teacher at Clayton Early Learning, but doesn't have a bachelor's degree, meaning
less money, for sure.
She's wanted to go back to school for years, but being a single mom, a full-time educator, and getting lower pay,
I just would not be able to afford to go back to school at all.
A 2016 study found only 17% of pre-K teachers in the state have a bachelor's degree in education.
Oftentimes, because these jobs aren't considered certified teaching positions, they have lower pay, they have a lot of turnover.
Colorado is set to offer universal pre-K by 2023 and to develop a Department of Early Childhood Education by next year, meaning more young minds in the classroom. However, the state is already facing challenges.
We have a massive educator shortage in many of our positions across the education spectrum, but it's particularly high in our early childhood classrooms.
So schools like the University of Colorado Denver are coming up with new ways to help. The school recently won a $2.3 million grant to educate more educators and already has a place-based pilot program underway. Brenda is among the first students.
I was so grateful that I have the opportunity to go back to school.
Now it's not money that's Brenda's biggest challenge.
Oh my goodness, I just did not realize how much work I had to do. It's just been so long since I've wrote a paper in APA style.
But it's a challenge she's been waiting for years. Megan Lopez, Denver7.
Megan, thank you. It's been about a week since Contact Denver7 told you about a Longmont landscaper accused of starting jobs and then just taking off with the money. Well, since then, more people have come forward to warn about Travis Goodspeed. Shane Williams hired Goodspeed in 2014 for a landscaping project and paid him more than $2,500. He says Goodspeed kept asking for more money and then just disappeared. Never paying the small claims court judgment, Williams won.
There's contract signed right here. These contracts right here, signed, right? Signed. And the settlement is signed. The mediation is signed.
And nothing.
And nothing.
Williams is still trying to finish that project on his own. Contact Denver7 has learned Goodspeed is on a probation and a deferred sentence for theft. And the Boulder County DA is moving forward with an investigation. They are asking any new victims to come forward.